Welcome back to the channel. If you struggle with your driver, here's a couple of simple tips that you can implement within your technique and also that's going to help you improve your impact. Certain driver, we need to be quite shallow, so we need to hit slightly upward driver, keep the loft slightly down to reduce the spin. Gives us higher launch but low spin. Always tee the ball up slightly higher than what you would with an iron, so half the golf ball is above the crate of the face, half the golf ball is on the club face. That just gives us a running head start to try and hit slightly more upward driver. Here, as you're going to open your left foot up, so visualize that you're on a clock face, you stand at 12 o'clock. You're going to try and turn your left foot out so the left foot resembles 10 o'clock. You're going to take a big step with your right foot, so the ball position is just inside left heel. Stand a little bit wider compared to when we're hitting an iron shot. We stand wider, we're swinging the club faster, helps us keep a little bit more stability and balance. Your shoulders nice and level. We want to encourage a little bit of spine tilt with this shot. So what when you do, take your right hand off, keep your left hand on the club, slide your right hand down just below the base of your right knee, then put your right hand on the club. What you'll see simultaneously from there, my left shoulder is a little bit higher compared to my right shoulder. I feel like I'm slightly behind the golf ball. Many golfers who struggle with driver get the ball position way too far forward. That gets the shoulders a little bit too open, and that gets the chest a little bit too much ahead of the golf ball. If you struggle with pop-up shots, top shots, then chest is too much in front of the golf ball address, ball position is too far forward. Together, left foot slightly out at 10 o'clock, big step with right foot, set up tip, shoulders nice and level, slide your right hand down to your right knee. That'll feel like you're slightly behind the golf ball, so your sternum is slightly behind the golf ball. That is good, because it's going to help us hit slightly up. It's going to reduce the tendency of us hitting the golf ball then taking too much of a divot with driver. We almost want to visualise that where the club sits at address, so maybe 1 inch behind the ball, that's where the club's going to hit the ground, then start to rise up at impact. So the club's working a little bit more inside, a little bit more low to high through impact. Going to give us the best opportunity to hit those high shots, that hit the fairway and run straight down the middle, slightly higher than what you normally would with an iron. That just helps us hit slightly higher in the face. This part of the face has got a little bit more roll, the ball comes off a little bit less spin. Flare both feet out, left foot a little bit more flared than the right foot. Take your right hand off the club, slide it down to your right knee, put your right hand on the club. You'll see from there, left shoulder's a little bit higher, right shoulder's a little bit lower. And a good visual to look at here is visualise the back edge of the club head. I feel like I'm fixating my eyes on the back edge of the club head. And as I work the club back, the only feeling from here is I'm trying to feel like my hands stay as wide away from my body as possible. A lot of people get the arms too narrow compared to the body. Then if they get narrow in the backswing, they have to get wider on the downswing. Hands as far away from your chest as possible. Swings left shoulder, gradually working underneath the chin or slightly behind the golf ball. That's a good feeling. If upper body rotation, left shoulder underneath the chin, hands as far away from your body as possible. Because what we're going to do, if we get a little bit wider on the way back, that's going to allow us to shallow the club coming down. If we get really narrow in here, the angle has to get too wide. That's where we cast, throw the club over the top and struggle on hitting down with driver. So get to the top of the backswing, feel the hand stay as wide away from your body as possible, and the club from here, the only feeling is the club works straight down to help us shallow. If you're still struggling with that analogy, feel like the club works up, back and around. That's a good feeling, so try and keep your hands as far away from your body as possible. So left shoulder working underneath the chin, that's a good feeling. The club works up, back and around. That's going to help us create a little bit more space on the downswing. Underneath the chin, that's going to create the width for the hands as far away from your chest as possible. Then I come back down into impact, develop the feeling of the hands just dropping straight down, the feeling the hands just working straight down in the downswing. That's going to allow the club head to feel a little bit more from the inside. We need to create a little bit more space. Set up, left foot out, big step right, slide the right hand down to the right knee, back at the edge of the club head. I'm focusing on club working on low to high through impact, so feel like that club works a little bit more inside the golf ball to a little bit higher through impact. And the feeling is on the way back, left shoulder underneath the chin, hands as far away from your head as possible. Might even be the feeling keeping your right arm as straight as possible in the backswing. Get to the top of the backswing, feel like the club just drops straight down. It's almost the feeling that you're pushing your hands away from your right shoulder, just works straight down in conjunction with your right pocket. That's going to help you get slightly upward driver. And I'm going to visualise with an iron, we want to visualise a target 1 or 2 inches in front of the golf ball because we want to hit slightly downward driver. If you get a little bit too steep and struggle to launch the ball high, focus on a target 1 or 2 inches behind the golf ball, the ground 1 or 2 inches before the ball, then it starts to rise up. That's going to help us hit slightly up. Foot at 10 o'clock, big step right foot, ball off left heel, take your right hand, slide it down to the right knee, put your right hand on the club. As you can feel from there, left shoulder's higher, right shoulder's lower. Work the club to the top of the backswing, left shoulder underneath the chin, That's a good feeling. The second step to this, try and keep your hands as far away from your head as possible. And then as you come back down into impact, there's the feeling of your chest starts to work a little bit more towards the sky. So that's going to help you hit slightly up. Another good feeling will be your left shoulder working up towards the sky to help the club bottom out a little bit before the golf ball, then start to rise up if you're something that gets a little bit too steep. Next, working up towards the sky from here, try and get right hip and right shoulder in front of the golf ball, and on my way onto my left foot. That's going to help me transfer my weight onto my left side.